Hey guys, Paul from Babel Tech here. I just wanted to make a quick video to give you some more help with setting up the bookings calendar. Um, so in particular, I want to go over a few things in the settings panel, which we didn't really cover in depth in a previous video. So before I do that, I want to show you a quick a little gotcha that I think can confuse a few people. Um, if we start with by looking at this, if we start looking at the employees panel here, and I'll click on myself. I'm the only employee on this site, so you can see it's got me on there. It's got my email, etc. It's connected to my Zoom account. If I look at the assigned services, so I've got 3 services that I'm offering: a trial class, one-to-one lesson, a 10-week course. So I'm assigned to all of these types of lessons. I've set up my work hours in here, so this is all relative to my time zone. So don't forget. So when you're setting up your site, one of the first things you should do is make sure your site is set for your local time zone. And there's a video on that and how to do that. It's very easy. Basically, you just have to go to the settings and general, I think it is, and change the UTC time zone there. So I'm in Japan, so I'm UTC +9. If you're in the United States or North America, you're probably UTC minus something. So just be aware of that. So first of all, you have to get that time zone correct, and then you can go through and set up your availability schedule here. Days off. So I think I mentioned in a previous video how if you want to schedule some days off, like for example, public holidays would be a typical one, your birthday, etc. Special days might be just like one-off days when you're not working. So that's what the employee looks like. Now, if we come to services, and if we look at the services panel here, so you can see I've set up a duration for this service, this class. The duration is 50 minutes, and I want to have a 10-minute buffer after the lesson. So I want to have a 10-minute break between classes, and so it'll combine the duration of the class with the buffer to create like a 60-minute bookable period of time on the calendar. So this is where you can set up the capacity of your classroom. So I'm just going with the minimum of 1 and maximum of 1 because I only want to do one-to-one lessons. And you can see here that this lesson has been assigned to me as an employee. Yeah, so gallery, I think you don't need to worry about too much settings. I think we covered all of these in a previous video. Yeah, so the thing I wanted to point out was under the employee panel. Yes, so so you can see here I'm assigned to these classes. The work hours. So this is what was confusing in one scenario that we had. So this column here, it should be empty. What's possible is that you assign a particular service. So for example, I could say that at this time on Wednesday or Wednesday morning, I only want to do trial classes, and I could assign that, and so that would block out that particular time only for trial lessons. So that's a possibility, I guess, but for most people, I think you wouldn't want to operate that way. So you just want to make sure that this column is blank. All right. So yeah, that's the just that one gotcha that I wanted to point out. Now let's take a look at the settings panel. All right, let's take a look at view general settings. So you can see that the default time slot step here is 5 minutes. You can go down to 1 minute, 2 minutes, but I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. I think 5 minutes is a pretty good increment to work within. So the default status is approved. So this is an option where if, for example, you want to manually approve each lesson booking, I think if they're paying for the lesson, then you may as well just set it for approved by default. If they're not paying for the lesson up front, then you could make a case where you wanted to set the appointment status to pending, okay, not approved. So use the service duration for booking a time slot. So I think that's just saying that you want to make the available times on the calendar to correspond with the length of the lessons, and include the service buffer time in the time slots. And yeah, I think you would want to do that. So this is probably an important part where you can set the minimum time required before booking. So you don't want to take like a booking 5 minutes before the appointed time. So you want to have like some sort of notice period in there. So you'll take bookings up to 1 day before the class time. And similarly, minimum time required before cancelling or rescheduling. So you wouldn't want cancellations that were less than a day before the appointed time. Okay, so period available for booking in advance, 90 days. So we're saying here that students can book classes up to 90 days from now. By the way, if you hover over these little question marks, they give you some handy tips about what each of these options means. So these are probably, all these defaults, I think, what you would want to use. Phone number mandatory? No, I think that, I think that would probably deter a lot of people from booking. Most people don't like to give away their phone numbers. You will need to get their email. Show booking slots in the client time zone. That's really important, I think. We don't really use this add to calendar option for customers. It's not been fully tested yet, so I think I'd leave that turned off. Send ICS file in the notification. I'm not even sure what an ICS file is. I'm guessing it's got something to do with adding it to calendar, but so anyway, it's not fully tested, so I'd leave that off. Yep. So basically, I think all of these others you can just leave as they are after leave them as they are on the defaults. Let's take a look. Working hours, days off. So I think this is where you can set like a global availability. If you've got more than one instructor, more than one teacher working out of this website, then this is perhaps where you'd want to set a global availability for all of the teachers. If it's just you as the one instructor, then you need to make sure that these hours correspond to what you've set up on the employee panel that we looked at before. So that's that. Appointments. So this will just show what's this, appointment settings. So allow booking above maximum capacity. So I don't know why you would want to do that. There might be some use case for that. Allow bookings below minimum capacity. Yeah, again, I'm not really sure why you would want to do that, but it's an option. And I think the other things on here I've already talked about in a previous video. So you should go back and take a look at those other videos for that. All right, so I hope that's helpful, and thanks again, and reach out if you have some questions. Bye for now.